I'm assuming that everyone who just pulled Sigrika is crying right now with me in the corner because we just got a drip marketing for Hiyuki, and this is not just any other character because from what we can see, this is most likely the only anniversary character being dripped like that. The Hiyuki is a character we saw for the first time in a 3.2 trailer, and she completely overshadowed Sigrika for a lot of people, and now we finally have her splash art and some information that we can talk about. And honestly, it looks like there's a lot going on here. I thought this is going to be like a short video, but the more I look at the splash art, the more questions I have. On the first post, we can read: "The collective pursues what is right, but your quest to save the one you hold dear, that I understand." Hiyuki is a member of the Special Response Force, is the embodiment of ice purity, and the wishes entrusted to her in brief encounters with others drive her on, carving a path forward. The second post says, "With her Suzu, Hiyuki can perceive and utilize future possibilities of herself. As crystals take form and snowflakes fall, Hiyuki raises her sword and strikes out with lightning speed." And we get this splash art. First of all, visually, she is very heavily inspired by Japanese culture. That we can be sure of. I'm not going to go deep into that because I do not have enough knowledge about that, but we can clearly feel it. She is very elegant, beautiful, very calm. She looks very controlled, which is actually a really nice contrast to Sigrika. I also really appreciate this type of color palette. I know that people are not very happy with the color palettes used for the Lahiroi cast, but I am fan of muted black and white color palettes, monochromatic color palettes with this one pop of color, and here the pop of color is red. This type of design is also very much tied to the character Hiyuki's XP off, so Alpha from Pijor, and we can very much see the similarities, but Kuro managed to make Hiyuki as a standalone character. Based on everything we know so far, she's most likely going to be a glacial character. I mean, we strictly have words like snowflakes fall, icy purity, and every time she is on the screen, she is showed with ice, snow elements in the background. She is also literally holding an ice katana. But, you know, at the same time, you never know. I mean, she also has a phrase, lightning speed, so maybe she's Electro. With Kuro, you never know. And although she is holding an ice katana, at the same time, this does not necessarily mean she is a sword user. And, you know, this is actually when it gets interesting, because I think she might be a Rectifier user. Because thanks to that, she is not limited to one weapon, and we already have examples of that. For example, Yinlin is not using her Rectifier, she is using her dolls, and Phoebe is using her staff. So, if Hiyuki is a Rectifier, she could actually use multiple different weapons depending on her abilities, and that connects directly to the most interesting part of this entire splash art. In the background, we can see multiple versions of Hiyuki, and those are not just, you know, small iterations of the same characters. These are completely different versions of the same person, because we have a phrase that she is using future possibilities of herself. We can find here what looks like a younger version of her. Some of them have this darker hair instead of white, so this might be like earlier stages of her life. There's also what looks like some kind of researcher or professor. There is a version that looks more like a warlord, and there is even what looks like a fist fighter. And then in our current Hiyuki version, she is using a katana. So those are very different paths for a one person, not just like different outfits, but completely different roles. And I am wondering what actually causes those differences. How does one person end up in such completely different directions? And what are the rules behind that. Because from official information, like I mentioned, we know that she can perceive and utilize future possibilities of herself. So those versions are most likely her future iterations, but at the same time, some of them look like her past versions. So maybe it's not just the future, maybe it's her entire timeline. And because of that, her power can be strictly tied to time powers. And all of this could translate into her gameplay. If she is a Rectifier user, she could use completely different weapons based on those versions. Like, for example, she could use bow, a fan, maybe even fists. That would be funny. Well, technically still be one character. Or she could switch between those versions. We already have characters that have different versions, like Cartithia or Aemeath. You know, those could be like different states, maybe tied to her forte. So depending on which version she is using, she would get different abilities. Or, you know, there could be simpler route, and instead of switching, she just becomes stronger with each quote-unquote version, like collecting power from those timelines, something like stacking power or I don't know, unlocking stronger states or something. But if that is the case, there has to be a limitation to that. And all of those powers, and why I really believe that at the end of the day she is Glacial, is if she is tied to time and future iterations, ice is a frozen water, and in a lot of cultures, water presents the passage of time. Water has memories, water remembers. So I strongly think that she, at the end of the day, is Glacial. I know, shocking. But all of those time powers and so on and so forth, at the end of the day, very much connect to Aemeath, especially that she strictly has a line that she can understand our pursuit for someone that we hold dear. And because she directly references understanding need to save someone important, and we already know what Rover is trying to do, so if she can interact with timelines, she might be the key to saving Aemeath, because we know that Aemeath, at the end of the day, did not have to die like that. That her sacrifice was unnecessary. So maybe because of that, we will have the opportunity to save her. But yeah, all of those are just my speculations based on few lines and one image. So yeah, the more I look at her, the more complex she seems. And this is exactly why I think she's going to be a big character, especially as this is the anniversary patch and she's XP of Alpha. But I'm very, very curious what you think. Do you think she's going to be a sword user or a Rectifier one? Did I miss something, or you have like a different ideas what her powers could be? And yeah, are you saving for her? Because at the end of the day, that could be first Glacial character in a year. Anyway, if you like those type of videos, like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, stay cozy, stay shiny, and I love you so much, Starlights. Bye!